Now, I know you have a lot of training dito sa Philippine homes, and I'm sure that a lot of this will be coinciding with it, or will be matching this principle. Why is it very important to study the principles rather than the techniques alone? You see, if we don't study the principles, we just go directly to the techniques without understanding why we're doing things, then we will never get to execute that technique fully. I'll give you an example. Who's the champion boxer in the world? Manny Pacquiao. But boxing has only how many punches? You have the left hook, the right hook, the uppercut, the straight, the jab, and what else? Wala namang kicking yan. Wala namang roundhouse. You see? Now, if you study that, o sige, alam ko na ngayon yung straight, alam ko na yung jab, alam ko na yung uppercut, o sige, labang ka na kay Pacquiao. What do you think will happen to you? Bugbog ka. Why? Because you just studied, oh, ganito pa rin straight. But you don't know the principles behind it. You don't know the time. You don't know the preparation. You don't know the speed. You don't know how to execute it. You don't know how to prepare. You don't know how to set up. That makes a lot of difference. The same with selling. Sabi nga, what is selling? Is it an art? Is it a science or an art? I say both. While you're in the process of studying it, because science is a study, right? While you're in the process of studying it, that is the stage of being a science. Now, if you have already learned it and you can now be more creative in how to execute it and how to apply it, then it becomes an art. It becomes an art. So, I'll be sharing with you uh, the some of the principles. Now, for example, the shark prospecting, very important because it's either you do prospecting or you're doing marketing. Now, Philippine Homes as a whole provides you with that. Kumbaga sa gera, ito yung airstrikes. Ito yung airstrikes. But the prospecting you have to do on your own. Ito yung one-on-one mo. Now, when you do prospecting, you have to set a daily target of numbers to call. This is how you evaluate yourself if you are improving. Set a realistic number to start with because, for example, sige, I'll try to call 10 people a day. Or I'll try to send 20 emails a day. I'll try to text 20 people a day. At least may numbers ka. This is what you will follow. Remember, when you say, I'm working. Anak, I'm working. What is working? How do you define work as a salesperson? Isa lang ang definition ng work as a salesperson. Wherein, if you do not do this, kahit na whole day ka pa nasa office, kahit na 16 hours ka nasa office, pwedeng hindi ka nag-work. I'll give an example. What is work for a baker? It is to bake breads. To bake breads, right? If he did not produce breads, then he did not work the whole day. Now, when I ask people, what is the job of a salesman? So, sinasabi to sell. Okay, sinasabi na iba, to close. Yes, so does that mean if you're not able to sell today, you did not work? Does that mean if you're not able to close today, you did not work? Okay. Now, staying in the office the whole day, does that mean you work the whole day? I'm tired because I work 16 hours a day. Is that work? Isa lang ang definition of work for a salesperson, and that is to generate leads. I'll repeat. Work for a salesperson is to generate leads. From there, it will follow. Saan ba nanggagaling ang sales? Dun sa clients na na-generate mo. Dun sa leads na na-generate mo. right? So you have to have a way of measuring this lead generation activities. So you set a daily target of a number of prospects to call, okay, to contact every day. Then you start off with your happy existing clients. That's why sinabi ko kanina, relationship is very important because they are the ones who will be referring clients to you. Referral is the most difficult act that a person can do. Mas madali pong bumili kaysa mag-refer. You know why? Because kung kaibigan ko to at pinagkakatiwalaan ako at matagal na kami may relationship and then gustong mag-invest ng millions, why will I entrust him or her to you if I don't feel that you are the right person? Eh kung lokohin mo, number one. Or, eh kung hindi mo alam kasi yung, I think hindi mo alam yung ginagawa mo or sinasabi mo, why will I risk our relationship by referring that person to you? Kahit bigyan mo pa ako ng what's this, commission, natatakot pa rin yung iba mag-refer unless you have their trust. Okay? So, but if you have a happy existing client, that means maganda relationship nyo, they trust you. These are the people na whether you ask them or not, they will be referring clients to you. Another thing, appointment setting is a skill that you have to develop. Many years ago, many years ago, 3 decades ago, walang mobile phone, walang email, walang Facebook, walang Viber. Ang pag-set ng appointment, tawag. Dadaan ka sa secretary because there is no way that you can call them directly. Daan ka secretary. So you have to develop the skill of patience na napagtawag na madami. Pangalawa, getting through the secretary. Eh ngayon, pwede mong i-message direct. See, you have to learn that art or that appointment setting skills. Referrals, kagaya na sinabi ko kanina. Now, okay, keep on giving updates to your prospects. Kaya bumili siya ngayon, kaya hindi. Keep them alive. Keep them alive. Sabi nga, nung brother ko, itong negosyo natin, ano ba yung tinatanim mo? Munggo o mangga? Nagtatanim ka ba ng munggo o mangga? Munggo, iba to mo ngayon, bukas may tutubo. But that's munggo. Pero in our business, we are planting mango trees. You have to have the roots very strong and you have to wait for a long time. But then, pag nagbunga naman yan, tuloy-tuloy. Take care of that client, take care of that prospect, whether bumili ngayon or hindi, keep the relationship open. Keep on updating them. Keep on being available. Keep on being visible to them. Keep your name on top of their minds. Pag naisip na real estate, may kilala ko. Si Juan, si June, si Boston, si Juan de la Cruz, si Maria. Okay? So, alagaan niya yan. Next is, in terms of your presentation should not be very, very long. If you have a very strong argument, then it can be very short. Sweet, short, but very sensitive. How can this be? Hindi important when they say you try to learn the project comprehensively, master the project. That does not mean that you present the full project dun sa kliyente when you are talking to them. Because not all the time that they need to learn to hear the whole thing. I have another session. Yesterday, I did a session with a team about the NLP, the Neuro Linguistic Programming. It is about what is the favorite sense of that client. Is he or she visual? An auditory or kinesthetic? Ano yung favorite sense niya? If you're able to determine kung ano ang favorite sense ng kliyente, then you can switch your presentation. You can adjust your presentation or customize your presentation based on that favorite sense of that client. Give an example. Kung na-determine mo na the client is a visual, then you talk about the nice views, the nice features, the nice amenities, the nice decoration, the nice layout design. Visual. You use words. Can you see this? How do you view this? Can you enjoy the view? Then, because if, for example, that person is an auditory and you keep talking about the view, the layout, the design, you are not connecting. So how do you, if, for example, he's an auditory, then you should use words about sort of the quietness of this area and then the chirping of the birds, wala ka ingay ng tricycle, wala ka ingay ng jeep, or stuff like that. But that's again another session that we can have. So you have to be very sensitive in what they are looking for. Each project, remember this, each project has a, what tinatawag yan? USP, the unique selling proposition. What is the unique selling proposition of a project? In marketing, they tell us, oh, this is the unique selling proposition of this one. Uh, meron swimming pool, or meron gym, or meron ganitong design. But in actuality, in a person-to-person encounter, the unique selling proposition, sabi nga, di ba? What is the best project in the Philippines? All the sharks remember this. All the sharks know this. The best project in the Philippines is the project that you are selling right now. What is the best unit in that project? The best unit is the one that is available. It's useless to present, no, ang ganda ho nitong, meron ho kaming unit na nandun sa 28th floor na lucky floor na corner unit na pagbukas nyo, nandun yung view ng mountain and then meron hong river na nagko-cross doon. Tapos puro greens, wala kayo makikita ng mga buildings or tricycles or whatever. Sobrang ganda. Tapos yung window niya is on both ends, kaya tuloy-tuloy hangin. Wow, that's nice. Magkano yan? Ay, ma'am, sold na ho eh. Sold na ho kasi yun. You see? So, why present that one? Now, kahit ang natitira na project na lang yung isang nandun sa baba na wala kang view, that will still be the best project. And that will still be the best unit when you present it. Find the good thing about that unit. Each unit may advantage. May mamamatch yan dun sa bawat tao. Try to find the good thing in those units. No? What's the unique selling proposition? What's the unique selling feature? What is unique about that project? It is what the buyer wants. It is what the buyer is looking for. So when you do an initial presentation, so of course there's a probing. What are you looking for? What are you looking for in a project? I want kasi something like this na may ganito, na may ganito, may ganito. Okay. Then when you do your presentation, you only present, focus mo dun sa sinabi niya. Wala nga hilig. Kung wala naman siyang sinabi dun sa swimming pool dahil takot nga siya, dahil baka anak niya malunod doon or na ayaw niya na maingay doon or whatever, then don't talk about the swimming pool. Kung ano yung hinighlight niya, focus on that. Ma'am, di ba hinahanap niyo ganito? Ito ba hinahanap niyo? Ganito ba yung video na gusto niya? Repeat that over and over again. Reaffirm that over and over again. Yun yung gusto niya. So when you're closing, how can they say that I don't want this project? Sinabi mo na nga sa kanya lahat ng gusto niya. Na ito ho ba yung hinahanap niyo? May ganito, may ganito, may ganito, may ganito. Oo. How can I help you acquire this one? So, again, next is attentive to the buyer's reaction. Every time you say a feature, an amenity, or the benefit, listen with your eyes. See how they react. Words, they can play with words. Pwede sila magsinungaling. But their actions will never lie. Body language do not lie. So once you say a feature, you see how they react. Did they glow? Did they like it? Are they rejecting it? Once you see the reaction to a certain feature, then focus on that one. Highlight that one. Reinforce on that one. Okay. Be attentive. Selling is all about listening. It's not just talking and talking and talking. It's not how good you present, it is how good you listen. Again, always repeat and recap. Repeat and recap. So, sir, ang hinahanap nyo is this one. Ang hinahanap nyo is this one. Yes. Okay, hinahanap nyo is this one. So, ito ho ba yun? Ito ho ba hinahanap? Ito ba hinahanap nyo? Yes, yes, yes. So, reinforce, reinforce. That yes, yes, yes is, those are small closings which will lead you to the bigger close. Okay? So, nandito na ho lahat yung hinahanap nyo. How can I help you acquire this one? How do you intend to acquire this one? Okay. And then keep in control of the presentation. Simple technique on how you keep control of the situation, of the presentation, is by asking questions. Never answer a question with an answer. That's I'm sure si Boston has taught you that over and over again. You answer a question with a closing question. Meron ba kayong swimming pool? Ayun ho ba ang importante sa inyo? Gusto niyo ho ba ng swimming pool? Meron bang gym? Sir, mahilig ho ba kayo dun sa mag-exercise? So, is the gym very important to you? Yes. Yes. So, kasi otherwise, if you do not control that, if you always answer a question with an answer, you always have to defend it with another answer. Hindi matatapos yun. And you are being controlled by the buyer. Okay. Now, this is very important. The short negotiation. It's not. Sometimes it's not always a price. It's not always a price. One, when you are negotiating, set your objective to a maximum and a minimum. Hanggang saan ka ba pwede mag-negotiate? That's also the reason why sometimes I really discourage people to, when you make an initial offer, ma'am, ito sobrang ganda, 5 years to pay, tapos no down payment, maximum, may 10% discount na, meron pa kayo only 4,000 a month. Sinabi mo na lahat sa umpisa. Ano pang aatrasan mo pag humingi pag na-negotiate? Komisyon mo na yung tatamaan nun. Dahil binigay mo na lahat eh. When you sell, first start selling. Sabi nga, okay, when you sell, you offer first, let's say 5 units. Offer 5 units. Ma'am, if you're going to get 5 units, ito yung price. Ito yung price. Uy, sobrang mahal naman yan. Sobrang dami naman. I think we can start with 3. Kung 3 ho, ito na lang magiging monthly nyo. May mga 80,000 a month. And then, mukhang hindi ko pa rin kakayanan. O sige, kahit 2, para at least kung 2. Imagine, kung yung isa mag-increase ng doble ng price, if you sell that, then parang libre na itong unit nyo. Okay? And then, magkano yan pag monthly? Ma'am, ganito. Ay, mukhang hindi ko pa rin kakayanan. O sige. So when you go down to the last one, isang unit, nasanay na siya dun sa big amount kanina na nakalahati, this one will now sound very small. Another thing is that if I offer you kasi 1 unit, the answer will just be yes or no. Bibiling ko ba yan or hindi? Tapos na yung usapan, tapos na yung negotiation. Whereas, if I start with 5, hindi kaya. 3, hindi kaya. 2, hindi pa kaya. 1. So humaba ngayon yung negotiation nyo, and you have made it sound that that is a very small amount already. See, let them get used to the high, and then get them down to the minimum. Kumbaga, ano na to, sinali mo na din sa malaki. The last one will sound really, really small. And again, at least hindi nag-umpisa sa either I will buy or not. If you start with 5. Di ba? Kasi kung 1 lang, it's either yes or no. Bibili ba ako? Hindi. So, take your chance. Take your chance. And then, when you start selling even 1, you go for a term na meron down payment. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask for a full down. Eh, meron ba kayo no down? Meron naman ho. 5 years to pay, ganito. No down. However, if you have funds in the bank, kasi pag kinash nyo itong down payment niya, let's say 20%, 30%, you get this discount. If you have money parked in the bank, how much is it going to earn? Kung wala naman kayong ibang business sa pag-iikutan yan, and it's just parked in the bank, how much are you going to earn? Now, with this one, you get this much discount na hindi mamamatch dun sa banko. Another thing, Hope, is that you pay this down payment, and then maybe the next 20%, yun yung i-monthly natin for the next 5 years. So by the end of 5 years, naka 50% na ho ang na down nyo. And then hindi na kayo mabibigla ngayon pag nagkaroon kayo ng bank loan. And it's going to be much easier for you to get a bank loan if they have seen na seasoned na kayo and you have proven that you can pay this much. Easy. I'm telling you, easy. Any bank, if they see you have been seasoned to pay this much, tapos mas mababa yung magiging monthly mo, easy makakuha ng loan. Imagine, kung ngayon nagbabayad ka ng 30,000 a month, and then, pag nag-bank loan ka, 18,000 yung babayaran mo, sino hindi mag-approve sa'yo? Mas mahirap kasi nagbabayad ka ngayon ng 5,000. Pagdating ng bank financing mo, magbabayad ka ng 30,000. See, there will be a lot of checking dun sa bank. Now, the best thing is that when you get your full down payment, when you get them to pay the full down payment, what happens? You get a lot of incentives, plus you get your commission immediately. Now, don't be afraid to ask for that. Don't be afraid. And when you ask for that, okay, ma'am, kung meron kayo nakapark na pera, let's settle the 20% down payment in 30 days. Naku, baka mahirap. Okay, gawin natin 3 months. Okay, kung di pa rin kaya, ma'am, kung 6 months ba kakayanan niya na? Komportable na yan. Ayan, baka pwede ng 6 months. You see, before giving it yung 5 years, don't be afraid. You negotiate, because each time they give any developer, each time they give a bigger lump sum upfront, they usually get a corresponding discount based on net present values. Okay. And developers will appreciate that also. Next is hold on to your position. Watch for flinches and nibbles. Okay. Flinches. Ito ginagawa na ng mga lola natin kahit noon pa, kahit sa palengke. Flinches is yung gulat. Ito yung gulat. Okay. I'll give you an example. This is very good, especially if it is a live audience. Now, sabihin nung kliyente, Alin? Magkano yung one bedroom nyo? Ma'am, 3.5 million lang ho. Ano? 3.5 million? Nagulat ka agad. And because nagulat ka, ay, ma'am, may discount pa naman ho yun. Tsaka, meron pa akong discount yun. Tsaka mahaba yung payment terms yun. Tsaka pwede ko naman ho bigay yung commission ko. Tsaka pwede kong kausapin yung boss ko, pati si Boston. Pwede ko na sabihin na i-rebate na rin nila yung discount dun sa commission. Nagulat ka agad. So you acted that way. Marami agent na nakukuha sa gulat. But that is an expected response. Unconsciously. And the buyer, although unconsciously, they expect you to have that kind of reaction. So what you do is to always be prepared with that kind of flinch. If, for example, sabihin, Andy, magkano yung one bedroom nyo? Ma'am, 3.5 million. Ano? 3.5 million? Oh, kita niyo, nagulat kayo sa 3.5 million. Meron kayong unit na nandito sa gitna ng Cebu City or nasa gitna ng Makati, na meron kang swimming pool, meron kang gym, meron kang security guard, meron kang magandang lobby na napakasosel. They are not prepared for that kind of rebuttal. They are not prepared for that kind of answer. So they don't know what to do next. You can only do that if you are prepared to negotiate. So wag kang papadala dun sa gulat. Another thing is flinches, ay yung nibbles. Pag masyado kang madaling bumigay, may discount pa ba yan? Yes sir, meron pa naman discount. Tignan mo baka pwedeng padagdag mo ng 5% discount. Sige sir, pa-approve ko. Pagbalik. Ay, sir, na-approve na ho. Pwede mo ba natin i-reserve? If you give it that easily, what do you think the client will think? Uy, mukhang maliit yung nahingi ko na discount. Mukhang kaya ko pa siguro na humirit. Baka maliit lang yung 5. Wala na bang dagdag yun, yung 5? So, sabihin, this is nibbling. Wala na bang dagdag yung 5? Baka naman may mabibigay ka pang iba dyan. Baka ibang ahente kasi nagbibigay ng extra discount. Alam mo na yung parinig. Or, baka pwede madagdagan ng aircon. O baka pwede madagdagan ng bed. This is nibbling. Kung sabihin mo, wala ang problema doon, sir. Sige, sagot ko na ho yung aircon. Again, you gave it too easily. So how do you handle nibbles? Every time na may hingiin sila, you ask for something in return. So, for example, meron pa bang additional discount? Ano discount na nasa isip nyo? Let's say, kung humingi ng 5%. Sir, kung meron ho bang 5% discount, ngayon yung i-reserve? Or, ano hong payment terms? Ika-cash nyo ho ba? Or it's a 30% down nyo? See, every time na meron siya hingin, hihingi ka din ng commitment. So that when you give it, lock na. Close nyo na. Okay. So, another is reserve some items for higher authority. Hindi lahat, kung kunyari, sobrang laki ng hinihingi, but it is, let's say, a big volume naman. A big volume. What if I buy 30 units? Anong discount na bibigay mo? Of course, that one is beyond your authority. So, when you reserve it for a higher authority, huwag mong ituturo ang isang tao. Sir, pa-approve ko din sa boss namin. Sino ba yung boss mo? Si Boston ho. Or yung pangalan developer. Si Boston ho. Si Boston. Kilala ko yan. Sabi mo akong naghihingi. Ma-approve yan. When you refer to a higher authority, always refer to a body. Sir, sige, ipapa-approve ho sa committee pa yan. Ipapa-approve ho sa board or ipapa-approve ho sa management yan. It's a vague board, so they don't know kung sino doon. It has to be a management decision. Para hindi, para maiwasan yung name dropping din. Okay? Now, keep your clinchers until the end. Do not give everything at the start. Kagaya na sinabi ko kanina, kung lahat na lang aatrasan mo, big discount, long term, low monthly, no interest, paano, ano pang gagamitin ko na pang negotiate mamaya? Okay? So the easiest way will always be more practical. Go for multiple units, go for cash, go for DP. And then you work it backwards. Okay? I'm sure this one, natatakot pa yung iba. But this takes practice to have guts to close this way. Okay? Tsaka, you have, ito pa pala, tip. When there is a bigger commitment or involvement at the onset, there is a lower rate or lower possibility of a cancellation or back out. Why? Kung kunyari nakapag-reserve na ako, and then nagmamonthly lang ako na 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. Anytime, pwede magbago isip ko in the next 3 months or 4 months. Magkano pa lang naman nababayad ko? 20,000? Siguro? Sige. Bigay mo na lang. Kesa baka mapasubo pa tayo in the long term eh. Mas madaling bitawan yan because the involvement at the onset is very little. But if you are able to ask them a bigger commitment at the onset, nakapag 20% down, believe me, very, very slim yung chance mag-back out pa yan because they have a bigger commitment already. Okay? Wait. Shark handling objections. Okay. Handling objection is different from addressing concern. Handling objection is based on either a previous experience, bad experience, or a previous rumor or chismis na narinig nila noon sa kaibigan, kumare, kumpare, and nagmarunong about the past. So, binibring up yung objection na yan. Concerns is about something that, about the future. Like, kung baka hindi ko matuloy yung payments ko, paano kung mawalan ako ng trabaho, paano kung magkaroon ng, let's say, hindi matuloy yung project. These are concerns that may happen in the future. Objections may be from a previous experience or previous information. So how do you handle that? One, you can only handle an objection factually if you know your project and you have studied it intensively and extensively. Otherwise, bulahan yung mangyayari. Okay. Number two, hearing is not the same as listening. Iba'y naririnig mo, iba'y naiintindihan mo kung anong ibig nila sabihin. Why are they saying this objection? May pinagdadaanan ba? May pinaguhugutan ba? Because if you just do handling objection techniques, masyadong mababaw. And they can feel that you are just there to get their money. Kahit na master mo pa yan, kahit you know everything about the project, remember always people don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. So they should feel that care. They should feel that care. Because hearing is not the same as listening. And then you address their concerns, not their objections. They are saying something, but ano yung pinanggagalingan nun? Ano yung pinaguhugutan nun? So you address that. You address that one. For example, sinabi, paano kung hindi ko mabayaran? Let's say mag-miss ako ng isang month. Kakancelin niyo ho ba yan? Kakancelin ba kagad yan? So you have to understand, why are they asking that? Why are they asking that? So you can address it properly. And then reflex answers is one of the most important practices that you could exercise. Reflex answers are very short, but it's a very effective way of paring the objections. Ang layo naman. Kunyari, ang layo naman. Ma'am, hindi ho. Malapit lang naman ho to dun sa, you don't know where. But if you do the reflex questions, ang layo naman yan. Ma'am, saan ho? Malayo saan? Ang mahal naman, compared ho saan? These are reflex questions. Ang mahal naman ng alin ho? Ng down or ng monthly? Ang mahal naman ng alin ho? Yung 3 bedrooms or yung studio? See, these are reflex questions, short, but it attacks them and gives you an opportunity to close. Okay? Ang liit naman ng unit. Which one ho? Yung 2 bedroom or yung studio? So, pag sinagot na yun, they already made a choice and they're already pinpointing to a particular unit that they're looking at. And then you close them on that one. Okay. Now, Pastor, the feel, felt, found handler. I don't know why. Okay, the most common objection will always be the price. But then, I don't know why people are still not mastering the single most effective handling technique, which is the feel, felt, found, or dependent. Feel, felt, found is good for kinesthetic people. But if they're visual, they can say, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. Most of the clients that I've dealt with also saw had the same perception until they found out that, okay, itong feel found would be, ito yung formula niyan, Miss Crip. Sir or ma'am, I understand how you feel. Most of the clients felt the same way until they found out that so and so. Ma'am, naintindihan ko kayo. Ay, mahal naman. Ma'am, naintindihan ko kayo. Alam niyo, lahat ho ng kliyente namin, yan din yung akala ng umpisa. Yan din yung naramdaman nila nun. However, nung nakita nila na for this price pala, hindi lang yung unit na meron sila. Yung unit nga maliit, but meron silang malaking living room, meron silang malaking lobby, meron silang malaking conference room, meron silang malaking gym, meron silang maraming amenities. May bantay sila ng security guard, meron silang garden for this price. Until they found out that. Then it gives you an opportunity to present the project all over again. That's why you master this feel, felt, found. Don't memorize it, don't read it, don't know it, use it and apply it. So you can say you already know it. And make it your own. Make it automatic. Okay. Next is the short closing. A sale is not a sale if there's no closing. Pag tinanong ka na pagbalik mo na opisina, kamusta po yun? Sir, na-impress ko sila dun sa project. Okay. So, meaning, hindi mo na-close. Okay. Mas gusto ko pa yung kliyente na maraming objection kesa yung kliyente na nagpunta siya. Oh, ganda. Yeah, nice. Yeah, maganda yung project. Mas gusto ko pa yun. Mas gusto ko pa yung, bakit ang liit na unit naman? Bakit ganito? Bakit nang ganyan? Because they're already, when they have this objection and concerns, they are already imagining, now what if they are using it? What if they have invested in it? Kaya nagkakaroon ng concern. Otherwise, kung wow, nice, ganda. Oo, maganda ito, maraming kakagusto nito. Wala kang maninegosyo doon. Very rare. But the more important, the serious buyers will usually have a lot of objections. I'm not saying mayroong buyers na walang objection. Sir, walang objection, nabentahan ko kagad. Yes, that's true. I've had a lot of those. But it doesn't happen every day. serious buyers, tsaka mas maganda na yung may objection na ngayon kesa nag-close na kayo, tsaka palang lalabas yung mga problema. Baka mag-cancel pa. Eh, hindi mo sinabi sa akin na ganito eh. Ngayon ko lang nalaman. So magka-cancel pa. Okay? Sorry, uh, we are extending. Okay, there's our closing. Set your mind that you will close. That's it. When does the closing start? Before you leave home, in your mind, close na yan. Close na yan. Yung iba, pag alis sa office, pag tinanong ng manager, o saan ka pupunta? Sir, may presentation lang. You have set your mind na magpe-present ka lang. So you've conditioned your mind na magpe-present ka lang. Your expectation is only at the presentation. You should close that sale. You should have imagined that sale even the night before. Kapag pumunta dun sa kliyente mo, you visualize yourself na you're getting the check, he's signing the document, you're congratulating them, visualize it. I-replay mo na dun sa isip mo yan before you go there. Kompleto na yung documents mo na papipirma sa kanila. In your mind, you have closed this already. Okay. And then have the guts to close. Especially for the newbies, for the newcomers, iba natatakot, nahihiya, baka mabigla, kamag-anak kasi yan, auntie ko yan, mami ng girlfriend ko yan, nahiya ako naman na puwersahin. Hindi mo pinapwersa. If you believe in what you're saying, in what you're selling, if you believe that what you're giving them has value, if you believe that you are giving them an opportunity, may hiya ka ba? Now, kung talagang guilty ka na alam mo lolokohin mo sila, alam mo na sa tingin mo, pangit to, pero kukomisyon ka dito, then, sige, mahiya ka. But if you believe in what you're selling, you know that you're giving them this opportunity to own this one, to make money from this, to earn from this investment, to live in this place. Bakit ka mahiya? Right? It is your obligation to give them this. Mag-guilty ka pag na-miss nila opportunity. Nothing to be ashamed of. Hindi mo sila ninanakawan, as long as hindi mo sila niloloko. Nothing to be ashamed of. You're offering this opportunity now, today. Don't be guilty. So always be closing. And then always be ready with your closing paraphernalia. Why? Excited ka na. You have elevated your presentation. You have elevated their emotion higher than the level of reason. They get too excited. I have a session called The Pitch with an Itch. I have a presentation called The Pitch with an Itch. Itch is yung kate. Pag ikaw lang kate, kailan makakamutin yan? Bukas? Of course not. Your pitch should be makating-makate, that they want to scratch it now. That's the excitement, that's the emotional level that you should bring them. It's just beyond their reason, which is beyond logic. Remember, closing is an emotional decision. Buying is an emotional decision. So, raise that level of emotion beyond the level of reason. Make it very itchy, that they want to scratch it now. Hindi na bukas. Ngayon. Kamutin natin to. Let's close this now. That's why I call it the pitch with an itch. Now, na-elevate mo na, umuuna. O sige, saan yung, sige, kukunin ko na to. I'll get 5 units. Ay ma'am, kasi nakalimutan ko kasi yung RA. Nakalimutan ko yung reservation. Balikan ko na lang po kayo bukas na umaga para ma-reserve na po natin to. That emotion, biglang bababa na yan. And mamayang gabi, magkaka-influence pa yun, masusulsulan pa ng kaibigan na kumari niya na alahera na nag-aalok ng alahas. Sabi, ba't ka bibili niya? Ito na lang bili mo. Oo. Or may ma-encounter yan na let's say sinabi ng asawa niya doon sa asawa niya, oh, gusto kong bumili dito sa property na to. Kausap ko na si June. Sabihin, ay, bibili ka ba dyan? Eh, yung pamangkin mo, dyan din nagbebenta eh. Doon ka na lang bumili. Oh, tapos ka pa. Always be ready with your closing because in your mind, you're closing already. Then keep your posture. Posture and keep your excitement. Make them feel that this is an ordinary transaction, that you're doing this every day, you're comfortable, na hindi ito yung unang close mo, na baka hindi mo alam yung ginagawa mo. See, keep your posture. Let them sign. Be very calm. And then, sige, pag malayo na, naka-close na, umalis na, malayo ng kotse, doon ka na magtatalon. Doon ka na magtatalon at magsisigaw kung gusto mong mag-celebrate. Yes, yes, ako. See, but while you're closing, keep a very, very professional posture. Okay. Now, why should people buy your product or your project now? Ba't ko kailangan bumili sa inyo ngayon? One, you have, kung ma-establish mo that you are the solution to their problem. Remember, every purchase is a solution to a person's problem. What's your problem? You create that problem. You create that problem. Because when you create that problem, they will feel that they have the need. Na kailangan ko to. I don't want to miss this investment. Tapos, why do they need to buy this today? Because the availability is very limited. Kanina may nakita ko na post ninyo, I think it's Casamira, 17 units to go before the price increase. So that's an example of scarcity. Parang, mag-reserve na kayo because 17 units to go, mag-price increase na kami. Now, so there's scarcity, there's the need, there's a solution to their problem, and then why should they deal with you? Because they are reassured with your reputation. Na-check na kita, I know you, I've heard good things about you, I know yet that you're very credible, you have very good reputation. And then, so wala na akong takot. Wala na akong takot to deal with you. And then yung keen interest with the project was created when you were able to touch that USP na sinasabi ko kanina, yung unique selling proposition. The only way you can close is if you were able to make an opening. The only way you can close is if you were able to keep an opening. Yung kanina na sinabi ko na, okay, hanapin mo through probing what they're looking for. Once you establish that what they're looking for, you repeat and recap. And then once, and you have developed their keen interest of that project because of those particular things that they're looking for. When you get that, that's the time you close. Ito na yung gusto nyo eh. I'm solving your problem. You said you need this, and this is the only available unit, and you know that I'm very credible. So, ano pa ba yung iisipin nila? When you do that, they will be the one to buy from you. For the past many years, I have stopped selling. I said, I don't teach people how to sell because I don't know if anybody na gustong nabebentahan or naaahente, right? I will not teach you how to sell, but I will teach you how to make people buy, which is the more positive way. If people will buy from you, it's the more positive way rather than you selling to them because they have exercised their free will. People don't want to be sold to. Ayaw nilang nabebentahan, ayaw nilang naahente. But people love shopping. When you get them excited, They love shopping. They love buying because it is an exercise of free will. It's an exercise of freedom. Okay. Okay. Actually, meron pa tayong part 3, but then, uh, uh, Boston, can I ask Boston?
Boss, yeah. So,
Yeah.
ano
I think,
boss? Excited. Grabe yung excitement dito.
I don't know kung
So,
baka gutom na sila.
yeah.
Uh,
Maybe we can have, ikaw, depende. We
I
can
can finish
reserve
this
that
siguro
for the
in
next.
15 minutes.
Sige. We can finish that kasi we want to finish the shark system. Sige, boss.
Okay.
Tuloy natin.
Sige.
Yeah.
Sige. Para mamaya mas masarap yung kain nyo. Okay. Now, this is part 3. The language of selling. This is very short. Now, why is it important to know the language of selling? You know, uh, sa computer language, before and now and tomorrow, it will always be just 1 and 0. Kahit gaano ka maging advanced pa ang technology, computer machine language will always be 1 and 0. Boston knows this. My course is computer science also. We were the second batch of computer science in the Philippines before. No? So, but of course, I didn't like computer science. Wala lang akong choice during that time because when I left the seminary, the only school that was open during that time, it was a July, was AMA, and they were the ones offering BS Computer Science. Anyway, so going back, it's just 1 and 0, and it will be like that forever and ever. Amen. Now, that's a computer language. It will not change. Now, sa Bible naman, what are the two greatest commandments that God gave us? If you actually practice these two major commandments, you don't even need the whole Bible. You don't even need the law books. And we will have a happy world. If you only exercise two things, love God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might, and love your neighbors as you love yourself. Tapos na ang boxing. We don't need laws. We don't need rules. We don't need policies. If we just practice these two things. So again, two things now. Now, what about selling? Same thing. The language of selling has been and will always be the same. Nag-iiba lang yung degree ng 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 demand for pleasure kasi ng tao. But the language will still remain the same. Only two. Dalawa lang din lang yung kailangan niyang tandaan. One is feel good. Number two is trust. This two has to exist before you can close a sale. You have to make them feel good and you have to earn their trust. Hindi ka makaka-close ng sale without these two combined and without these two present. Will you buy from somebody if you don't feel good about that person? Will you trust that person if you don't feel good about them? Will you feel good about that person if you don't trust them? If you're able to do this too, get this, that will always be the language of selling, nothing else. You have to focus on that. Now, how do you achieve that? In sabi nga, the approach and techniques may evolve depending on the which is because yung techniques has to be different because of the level of demand for pleasure. The techniques will just evolve with the times of level of demand for satisfaction or increases, how it increases or decreases. But basically, it will just be the same. Dati, mababaw, sabi nga, di ba? Mababaw lang ang kaligayahan. Ayun, medyo complicated na. But the objective is to make them feel good. Why? Because we are human beings. As human beings, we are mammals. Ano ang mammals? Mammals, and difference between mammals and the reptiles is that we were all born from this the care in the womb of our parents. That's because of the mammary gland. Mammary gland during our formative years, nandun yung connection na it's dati hindi naman uso yung bottle feeding eh. But when you do that connection, when you're feeding with the mother, it's not just the feeding, but the warmth, the feeling of warmth and security. That is our instinct already. This emotion is a natural physical function of the mammalian brain, originating from the instinct of feeding and caring and grooming. Kahit ng mga monkeys, that's very natural. Dogs, cats, even dolphins and whales. The brain, the system of the brain called the limbic system, it includes the hypothalamus and cingulate cortex. That's also the reason why sometimes pag may naamoy ka, di ba, may para ka nagpa-flashback. Naalala ko to, yung amoy na to, ito yung luto ng lola ko nung bata pa ako. It creates that memory, that flashback. See, it is in the middle part, it's in the center part of the brain, which makes us feel good. Now, this is the reason why when you that's the way you can heighten the level of emotion, and it's very important that you make them feel good with what you do, what you say, and what you say, even from the onset. Now, how do you make a person feel good? Sa umpisa pa lang, when you have an appointment, yung punctuality mo. Every time you have a meeting, you're early. That means that tells them that you respect them. That tells them that you respect them. Not only that, with punctuality, you have a control of the situation. You have control of the venue. Let's say mag-meet kayo sa Starbucks. Anybody, pag nauuna sa meeting, they will always, instinct kasi, they will always find the seat which is against the wall. That's instinct. Kahit minsan di ka conscious, gusto mo naka-against ka sa wall. Because that makes you feel more secure. Basic security natin, against the wall. Para alam, secure ka, walang that attack doon sa likod. Hindi pagkapraning yan. That's natural instinct. Number one. Two, you enjoy watching people passing by. So if your client goes to the venue first, that will be their choice. So two things. If you are late, one, you don't have the choice of seat. Doon ka upo sa harap niya. What happens is that pag siya nandun sa wall, siya nakaharap din sa crowd. And that will be a lot of distraction. That will be a lot of, may dumating na maganda, sexy, or guapo, or whatever. Madidistract yan. Hindi nakafocus dun sa attention sa'yo. See? Whereas, if you're in the other way, nakaharap siya sa wall sa likod mo. There's no distraction. These are very simple things, but very useful na control of the situation. And then, another thing is that you show them respect. Number three is that pag late ka, when you're late in an appointment, what's the first thing that you would say? I'm sorry, sorry, I'm late, traffic eh. When the person who says sorry first, yung bargaining position mo, bumaba na kagad. May utang ka na sa akin ngayon. May points na ako against sa'yo. Late ka kanina, may points na. Whereas kung ikaw na una, sa'yo na late, siya magsasabi na sorry, okay, may points ka naman over her. Okay, over them. Okay, so at least that puts you now in a stronger position. This is subconscious, very, very minute things, but people don't realize this. Number two is your presentable and professional appearance. Again, not only to impress, but also to express and establish your authority, and also to tell them that you're special, that they're special. I did stuff for you. I'm a professional because this you're special, and I respect your time and your presence here. Preparedness. They are always impressed by people who are prepared, especially when you go to a client na alam mong closing na and you have the folder prepared already. In fact, if you have their name on that folder already, if they have their names on their folder there already, they know that they have you have prepared this for them. This is already for them. This is the assumptive close. Okay, so they know that nandun na yung expectation, product knowledge of industry, and then the positive mental attitude and your disposition. Your disposition should be very confident about the investment that they're going to make. Hindi yung, sige ma'am, try niyo muna mag-invest. Kahit ikaw wala kang, hindi ka sigurado. Remember this, people are buying certainty. That's what people are buying. Not really the investment, not really the property, but they are buying certainty. So you should sound with conviction. You should present with full conviction. Another thing is prompt service, prompt, efficient service. Now, all this will make them feel good. What else? Your persuasive presentation. Persuasive does not mean na namimilit ka. Iba yung pinipilit, iba yung in-excite. How do you excite them? If you feel the excitement with the project that you're selling, your emotions are transferring to them. Zig Ziglar said, selling is a transference of emotion. I cannot make you excited if I am not excited. I have to be excited first, and you have to feel my excitement. Okay, so that's what you call the persuasive presentation. They should feel that you are convinced. They should feel your conviction. Hindi lang presentation techniques. Hindi lang, ito yung maganda yung mga brochures ko, hindi maganda ADR ko. Kundi they know that you are convinced with what you are selling. They call it the experiential presentation. Visuals are good, but it's better if the video is in their minds already. Kahit, paano kung wala kang iPad? Paano kung wala kang laptop? Paano kung wala kang TV? You should learn how to present tayo lang without any gadgets to have them play in their minds kung gaano kaganda yung pinapresent mo. You have to learn how to make them imagine in their minds, which is better because the videos have no feeling. But if you can present the project and make them imagine through stories, dun sa mind nila, then mas effective yung video niyan because it goes down to the heart and they feel it. That's what I call the experiential presentation. Now, there will be the rebuttal sa handling objections, but you have to be polite but assertive. Polite but assertive. So you address their concerns rather than handle objections using techniques. But habang nag-iisip ka, you can use the reflex answers. The reflex answers gives you time to think for a few seconds. Okay. Now, the reflex answers also put the pressure on them. You pass the ball to them. Now, perception of the value of the product and service should be greater than the price. Walang mahal. Keep this in mind. Walang mahal. Kung may mahal, di dapat walang bumibili ng mga Rolls Royce, walang bumibili ng mga Rolex, walang bumibili ng mga Gucci, walang bumibili ng mga LVs. Okay? It is because the perceived value of the project or the property of the item is higher than the price. If you can, if you can present that by again raising the level of emotion beyond logic, walang mahal kahit ano babayaran yan. Okay? So it's very important that you develop the skill of presenting. Now, trust. You cannot feel good unless you trust the person you're dealing with. Correct? Paano ka magbibigay ng check doon sa taong hindi mo pinagkakatiwalaan? Even logical decisions have the objective of feeling good at the end. Minsan yung iba nabibigla, okay? Or nag-decide, nagkamali sila ng decision. Kahit nagkamali ng decision, people have this instinct to defend their purchase with logic. Okay? Dahil ayaw nilang mapahiya. Or sometimes they justify. Okay? Decisions are made first and then justified. Trust. Okay, sabi, a lot of women have gotten into trouble because of trust. Nagtiwala sila. Binola sila nung naniligaw sa kanila. Naniwala naman sila. Okay? A lot of investors have been duped because of trust. Alam niyo, doon ako nagtataka eh. Mas magagaling pa yung mga scammer mag-present and makuha yung tiwala, nabubudol sila. Sabi nga, naghahanap nga ako ng trainer na budol-budol eh. Wow, magaling mag-convince itong mga to ng tao. Okay. What is the emotion that they're trying to satisfy? Greed. Again, so that one is not a logical decision. Imagine, logical Ben, magbigay ka ng 5% per month na, sir, mag-invest ko dito, meron kang 5% per month na interest. Alam mo naman na it's not normal, it's not usual, and it's not legal. Pero they attack that emotion, which is greed. Greed is what kicked us out of paradise. Greed is termed as man's insatiable acquisitive desire. Okay, and that's a very nice thing. Man's insatiable acquisitive desire. Greed. Which is greed. That's an emotion that pag na-trigger mo, bumibigay yung mga tao. Tapos magre-reclam sila na naloko sila. Okay? So you understand this language very well. And believe me, you don't need to sell anymore because people will start buying from you. And they will refer people who will be buying from you. And you don't even have to hard sell. You just have to make yourself available, make yourself on top of their minds, and they will be buying from you. You don't have to do hard sell.
So remember, to all of our attendees, the most successful people in the world understand that they must be continuously learn to be successful. For us to live to the fullest, we must continually look for ways to improve. And that's what the reason why we're here attending FIRE. And for Boss Andy, we always believe, and he always believed, that one of the best feelings in the world is teaching others what you've learned. And that is the value of Boss Andy. And Boss Andy, thank you very much. We are so honored. We are so excited with all your learning, and we will truly apply this for the Filipino Homes Shark. So we will call them the Filipino Home Shark. Okay?
Yes,
so
yes.
Thank you, Boss Andy. And we'll keep in touch from time to time because we have a new program. We'll be starting the new program that you've been telling me that we'll have some question and answers, and we'll be inviting superstars. It will be open.
Yes. So for those who liked what they heard today, what you can do is give your comments na lang. You give your comments. yesterday I posted, or the other day I posted on my Facebook, the Sharks on Fire. You can just put your comments then or just like it so that I will know. I will know if you liked it or if there are any suggestions or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope I was able to add value, to give value, and uh, we are looking forward to making the most out of this crisis.
Yeah, more than value, Boss Andy. So we're thankful and we're so happy for everything that you have shared. And God bless to everybody, Filipino Homes. Thank you very much for another exciting learning from Fire. And that is the shark is on
Yes,
fire.
okay.